Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Alex Kramer. It's now time to get you caught up with some rapid reactions. Well, as you can imagine, the internet has wasted no time taking a poke at Dr. Anthony Fauci. This after the news came out that he tested positive for COVID. Now, first, we do want to make very clear we are not making light of the coronavirus or its effects. It's a very serious illness that has changed the world forever. But after all the money he's made and attention that he's received, many rushed to remark double-masked Fauci just tested positive after receiving 4 COVID shots. Now that Dr. Fauci has tested positive despite receiving 4 vaccine doses, can the establishment accept the virus is endemic and move on? Others finding the whole thing a bit ironic, don't you think? Including Donald Trump Jr., who threw this haymaker. He's octuple vaccinated and quadruple masked, and yet the Rona still found a way. Science. Thankfully, his symptoms are mild, but we're still seeing all these rapid reactions about a guy that once said this.
When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected.
Yeah, well, when you're a public figure and you make more money than any other government employee, you're fodder for people to poke fun at. Fauci catching COVID is like a chef getting food poisoning from his own cooking. Fauci has COVID. God has such a sense of humor. Others not necessarily offering their condolences. Dr. Fauci should be fired, investigated, charged, and arrested. And poor COVID, it tested positive for Fauci. Rob.
I mean, I tried to stay out of it yesterday because it was just, I saw it and I was like, well, look, we're glad he's doing okay. He apparently was at Holy Cross, his alma mater, over the weekend in Worcester, Massachusetts. A building was dedicated to Dr. Fauci, the Anthony S. Fauci Integrated Science Complex, so the Dr. Fauci Science Center. Interesting. All right, moving on now. The U.S. Supreme Court issued several opinions in 6 cases yesterday, but the biggest one of all, the ruling that could overturn the landmark 1973 decision Roe versus Wade. And this, by the way, 7 weeks after the leak of the draft decision. We have no idea who the leaker is. Yesterday, nothing on that case. We thought maybe yesterday. Now we're seeing some reporting. Could be Friday. Try to bury it in the weekend a little bit. Joining us now to talk more about this, former acting U.S. Attorney General and Newsmax analyst Matthew Whitaker with us. Mr. Attorney General, great to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you, Rob.
I'm wondering why you think we've got the delay. So we're now in that time period when we thought this would be issued, the decision would be issued initially. We still haven't gotten anything, and we still 7 weeks later don't know who the leaker is. Why is the court waiting?
Well, court watching is always a favorite pastime of lawyers in Washington, D.C., and I'm glad that you're joining many of us in that. But,
right.
The Supreme Court's rhyme or reason for releasing certain opinions is typically just driven by the fact that they leave town about the beginning of July, really heading into July 4th holiday. So I just think they're trying to get their work done. Like you said, they released 6 opinions yesterday, including a case on Texas tribal lands and veterans benefits and a Medicare case. So, I mean, there were several cases released. I think the Dobbs opinion obviously is the most difficult, and there's a back and forth. We saw the majority opinion that was leaked, but there's a back and forth with concurrences and dissents that is a process, and if it's not ready, it's not ready. I think also the court is concerned about the violence surrounding its opinion, the threats that have recently emanated, including the assassination attempt on Judge Kavanaugh. So all these things, I think, are going to probably make this one of the last opinions that comes out from the court.
Yeah, Alan Dershowitz was on with Greta Van Susteren on Tuesday night. He used to clerk at the Supreme Court in the late 1960s. He said back then, so again, not that long ago, you could knock on the door of the court and you'd be invited in and you'd have a good chance of meeting a justice and certainly being shown the court. It looks a lot different now. Somebody was outside Brett Kavanaugh's home and was there to assassinate him. Thank goodness for the U.S. Marshals. The Senate passed a bill unanimously offering justices and their families protection when they are outside of the court. 27 Democrats, the bill passed, and we've got a graphic. 27 Democrats, many members of the squad, voted against this bill in the House. Can you make any sense of why they would do that?
Well, if you apply the filter that the most likely explanation is the explanation, it can only suggest that these folks want political violence. They want vacancies in the court so that they can put their radical judges on there, no matter how those vacancies might occur. I think it's very concerning. I mean, their political cover was some explanation that they wanted the staff of the court to also get security, but that nobody knows who the staff of the court is, and so
right.
There's, the threat profile is much different, and I just think it's outrageous that they would vote against a common sense bill, especially the week that the person outside of Brett Kavanaugh's house was charged with attempted murder.
Yeah. To that end, let's say that they rule on this and Roe v. Wade stays intact. It remains in place. The Chief Justice, after the leak, said that the 5-4 draft decision was legit. Do you think we'll ever find out what happened in the ensuing 7 or 8 weeks until we get a decision, if it's not overturned?
If it's not overturned, I don't see a world where Roe v. Wade isn't overturned based on that leaked opinion. I think the only question now is where is Justice Roberts on this opinion? Does he concur in the outcome and overturn Roe v. Wade, or does he vote against that and demonstrate again that he is not a conservative like he was sold to us in the Bush administration?
Right.
But that being said, my biggest concern right now is the political violence. There are flyers going up, anonymously put up, threatening serious violence in Washington, D.C. and nationwide, and I'm mostly concerned about that, another repeat of the summer of 2020.
Well, great point. The difference between now and January 6, 2021 is that the National Guard is on standby in Washington. They were not on standby January 6, which is fascinating. Matthew Whitaker, great to have you back on. Appreciate the insight as always.
Yeah, have a great day.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.